Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, for yet another episode of playing Armies of Death, a book that I am enjoying a little bit more than I was expecting to when I started out, or before I started out. And this is a direct continuation of my previous episode. So if you want to know what's happened before, you should watch my previous episodes. And actually, I should have watched it myself now because it has actually been a few weeks since my last recording session. I've forgotten quite a bit. I've been on holiday, for instance, other things kept me busy. But the gist of this is that you are the character, the character that won the Trial of Champions in the book Trial of Champions. You won lots of money. You bought a castle. You bought your own private army. The land is threatened by a demon with his army, and you have decided that it's your job, bizarrely, to, as a private army, yes, weird, isn't it, to go and stop the evil from overrunning the land. And so you set off with a mission to both recruit more men. In this one, you have some actual army dynamics as well. And then you have to pick up whatever items you might need to defeat the evil one. And of course, you can't be killed by normal means, obviously, as usual. And so you, yes, travel along to try to get to the right place with the right items and the right number of men. So, and I've been playing this in slightly shorter playing sessions than usual, which works fine, and except, of course, it gets a little bit more disjointed for me as well if I leave it too long and I can't remember exactly what happened before. But I will try to remind myself as we go along. I know I've been in some overland traveling. I know I've been in a dungeon, and I think I was heading into a forest as we left it last time, if I remember correctly. And I'll just try to catch up. And if there's anything that confuses me, I do apologize in advance. I will have to try to look back a little bit and see if I can figure out what's going on. But hopefully I'll be my memory will get jogged by playing this. So I think I'll just change my view to my hang on, there we are. Yes, to my desk view. The sun just came out, just messing up the exposure settings. I just adjusted very finely. A little bit on the bright side now. Let's see if I switch that off for now, and I'll switch it back on again if I need to. Right, so I got my map, or maps, I should say. At this point, it's been very linear, actually, the structure of this game so far. Got my pen and my dice for when I need them, and of course my book, which is the most important thing. But can't play the game book without the book. It's I think I'm just gonna do like so. Yeah, that is better. Okay, so I know I went inside a dungeon and I got some clue. Crystal of Light. I think I'll just double check what the clue was now. In paragraph 89, the most recent clue. Yes, explain that you believe the Oracle can help you to defeat Aglax. You ask if this is true. So you wish to destroy the shadow. So you actually, this is part of the story, and have you gone to find an oracle to help you in your quest. So you wish to destroy the shadow demon. It is good that you have your army with you, as you would never reach Aglax alone. His forces are too great in number for you to slip through them. You must battle your way through to him. You will find a trail of destruction east of the Forest of Fiends. Follow that trail and you will soon catch up with the Shadow Demon's army of death. So I'm not too far off now, actually. I've been on all the twists and turns of the journey, and I think I picked up on all the salient clues and hints that showed me the right way. I was told I needed a guide to find the oracle. I found the guide. I found the oracle, etc. Even if you destroy his army, however, Aglax will fight on alone. Your weapons will not harm him. Only a void spell will obliterate the demon. You must find the Crystal of Light. Okay, so Crystal of Light is something I must find still. When you are within 6 feet of Aglax, hold the crystal in both hands and say 3, 2, 1, be gone. That is how you will rid this land of the shadow demon. So I still need to find the Crystal of Light. Which I presume I don't have yet. Right. So that means that what seems to remain of my quest now is finding the Crystal of Light, which then is activated by going to paragraph 321, and then I will need enough men, clearly, to defeat the Aglex's army before I can even get to him. So I need the numbers and I need the item, and that might be it. Right, so I'm a little bit further ahead from that point now, at the point where I'm going into a forest, or the forest, I should say, which is called the Forest of Fiends. Yes, it was also just mentioned right there in that paragraph. Right, so you pass by a stagnant pool above which the air is thick with hovering insects. In the middle of the pool, you can see the corner of a wooden box sticking out of the weed-covered water. If you wish to wade into the pool to retrieve the box, I've got an army. I could tell someone else to do that. Turn to 325. If you'd rather march on, turn to 68. So, obviously, I can't just leave a box lying there around all by itself. I mean, if it contains valuables, somebody might come and steal it. So I think I should rescue it so that whoever owns it will not lose it. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. 325 and 68. Of course, it could be a trap. If it is, I will use my finger bookmark and save game and go back. Okay. You are bitten by dozens of insects as you wade out to the box. You pull the box out of the thick... Yeah, okay. You pull the box out of the thick, clinging mud and then climb back out of the pool. You prise the box open and find that it is full of bones which are of no use to you at all. You hurl the box back into the pool and then suddenly you feel quite dizzy. You are forced to sit down and you break out into a sweat. Your temperature rises and you are trembling with fever. A mosquito has infected you with a virulent form of malaria. Lose 8 points from your stamina. If you're still alive, roll 3 dice. If the total is the same as or less than your skill, turn 2. So 3 dice. 5, 9, plus 4. So that's 13. That's probably greater than my skill. Let's see. So I'll just put a note there. Do not do this. Haven't been that many red boxes on the map this time of things that I'm clearly not supposed to do, which means I've just been doing mostly the right thing, presumably, or it is very linear and you can't actually do that many wrong things. So, -8 stamina, and so 210 and 136. Okay, skill. Okay, so 136. Your temperature increases and the fever becomes worse as the hours roll by. You step in and out of consciousness until your body finally gives in to the deadly virus. Your adventure is over. Now, that sounds like an error to me, because there is absolutely no way in Titan that skill check is what is required here. This is clearly an error. It should have been roll 3 dice and compared to your stamina. So, in which case, I probably would have been okay. So, you do not use your skill to stay alive from an illness. So, anyway, This being right at the beginning of a playing session, obviously I will not pick up the box and life will be fine. I will march on. Well, I can just see what happens if I make this test, because it is meant to be a stamina test, obviously. Time passes by as you slip in and out of consciousness, but at last your temperature falls and you slowly recover. When you finally feel strong enough, you set off once again, turn to 68. So that's the same paragraph as you were directed to earlier if you ignored the box. Now, it must be said that, again, and quite commendably, Ian Livingstone right here is doing exactly what Steve Jackson did really early on in the run when Ian Livingstone hadn't caught up to it yet. He is giving you a hint that you should not be going for the box, because he tells you the air above the lake is thick with hovering insects, and that is the hint that you should not be going into it. So, but again, of course, as I also pointed out, I would have sent one of my men, really. But there you go. So it's not an insta-death. It's, you actually get a chance of reprieve, but also you make a choice, and it is, you do actually have some information that tells you it's the wrong choice, and so you're more likely to own it, and it's fair if it makes you die in a way. So yes, so good gamebook writing, good death, I would say, and yeah, that's how it's supposed to be done. Right. Yes. You come to a wide clearing in the forest. Am I in focus-ish? Yep. In which there is a large boulder. The clearing is strewn with bones, and the boulder is spattered with dried blood. If you wish to wait on the edge of the clearing with your army to see if anyone or anything will come back to it, turn to 252. If you would rather walk through the clearing, turn to 312. So I am going to wait and see what might appear. So 312 or 252. Wait. So I'm going to wait, see what happens. Half an hour later, you see some figures walk into the clearing opposite you. Two dwarfs, their hands bound behind their backs and their necks held by a pole forked at both ends, are being pushed towards the boulder by a group of hobgoblins. You count 15 of them in total. One of the dwarfs is cut free of his neck pole and is then forced to his knees. His head is pushed down onto the boulder as another hobgoblin approaches with a two-headed axe. You wouldn't use an axe near a boulder for an execution, because if you hit the boulder, then you ruin your axe. Yeah. To halt the execution, you run into the clearing with 25 of your warriors. Fight a skirmish battle. If you win, turn to 191. Why am I only fighting with 25 warriors? Anyway. 191. I'm not going to be bothered actually with the skirmish battle rolling this time, because the thing is that when I get to the point where the size of my army matters, I'm going to probably ignore it a little bit, because at that point there's no way I'm going to start over. Okay, I'll do it. Okay, so skirmish battle, and I rolled a 5, which I think means that they lose 10 men. And I have to find my way back now. 252. Let's see, how many were there? 15. Okay, so there's still 5 left. So, and I roll a 5 again, and that's another 10, which means that I won. So yeah, that's fine. I'm just wondering if, yeah, focus is okay, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, that's not where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be on here. Okay. Turn to 191. There we are. You free the captured dwarfs and hear how they had been ambushed in the forest while looking for caves to explore for gems. For saving their lives, they offer to enlist in your army and arm themselves with weapons from the hobgoblins. A search of the hobgoblins' bodies yields a gold necklace and a war banner that was tied to a spear. So we've got, let's see, gold necklace, war. I'm running out of pencil lead, it seems like. Yeah, gold necklace. Let's see, war banner. Okay, its emblem is a red dragon holding a curved sword against a white background inside a gold circle. Now that sounds very specific and probably significant. So let's just see. So we got a banner and we got a red dragon. Oops. Sounds like there's more pencil lead in this thing. So let's see. So we got a red dragon holding a sword. And white background, so white, gold circle, gold. Yeah. You pack away the necklace and banner and give the order to march on through the clearing. Turn to 312. 312. This was 191. Okay. 312. Excuse me. You come across a path that has been cut through the undergrowth. It runs north and south. Will you continue east, go north along the path, or go south along the path? Right, so I'm generally going to go east, obviously, to get to Aglax, but I also need to find the Crystal of Light. So if I continue east, my mind tells me I will get to the army too soon. So I should be going north or south. I have no indication whether I should go north or south. I can't remember hearing anything about any clues leading me in any particular direction before. So we have east 349, north, oops, 233, north or south is 6. So I'm going to go south, see what happens there. Your army marches 2 abreast along the path and makes good progress. The path ends at another clearing. Here you see many spears stuck in the ground, their tips pointing upwards, on which human skulls are skewered, like this illustration shows right here. If you wish to walk through the clearing, turn to 48. If you would rather walk around it under cover of the trees, turn to 389. Now it looks like one should be avoiding this clearing. Just a hunch. I certainly don't feel like walking into it. Then again, the skulls might be there to put people off walking into the clearing so that they will walk under cover of the trees around it. Could be kind of a trap that way. So I'm going to believe the second theory, and thus I will walk through the clearing. I'm not gonna. Yes, I'm gonna think that the skulls are there to make you not do that, and so the trap is along the edge. Okay. A shiver runs down your spine as you walk between the spears. In the middle of the clearing, you find a mound of freshly turned over earth and a shovel lying nearby. How convenient. If you wish to dig into the mound, turn to 98. If you would rather keep walking, turn to 315. So obviously I'm going to dig. 315, walk, or 98. Dig. The hole you dig is a yard deep. When your shovel strikes something metal, you scrape away the earth to reveal a section of flat iron. If you wish to dig on, turn to 184. If you would rather fill up the hole again and leave the clearing, turn to 315. You get so many chances to go away now, which is always a bit unnerving, because that means that either you are being given a hint that absolutely stop what you're doing now, you're digging your own grave, literally almost in this case, or it means something is so precious that yes, that you will be given a chance to not get it from the game creator. Right, I'm going to keep digging because you enlarge the hole to reveal a small iron door which is locked. There is a small keyhole but no key. If you wish to open the door and have a gold key, turn to the number that is inscribed on the key. Okay. So we have hidden paragraph. So this is important then. Key. Did I not have a gold key? Had a gold seal, but that's been used, has it not? Let's see, 3, 2. I don't think I have a gold key, do I? So it is possible that the only way to get any further is to have the gold key, which I don't know where to get if that is the case. I would have found, let's see, 2, 3, 2. Just double check any other places where there might have been clues now. Well, I did get the sword that might be able to kill the demon, so it is possible I don't need the crystal after all. Well, at the moment it looks like so. Let's see, need gold key. Now there is a chance, of course, that there are two ways to victory here. One is to get the correct weapon that can kill a demon, or to get the gold key and then get the crystal of light and then use that magic spell. 3, 2, 1, be gone. Nonsense. It wouldn't be the first time that there are two possible solutions to solving the problem. In any case, I don't have a choice anymore, so I'll have to leave the clearing and go to 315. As you walk along the path, an uneasy feeling grows that you are being watched. Suddenly you hear a cry from behind. Looking around, you see one of your warriors drop to the ground, clutching at a dart lodged in his neck. Another warrior falls, and you realize that your troops are the target of hidden blowpipes. Roll 3 dice and add 2 to the total. 9, 13. This is the number of troops who die as a result of the poison darts. If you wish to chase your attackers through the undergrowth with 10 warriors, turn to 265. If you'd rather march on quickly before losing any more troops, turn to 130. So, okay. So 130 march or 265 chase. You know what? In this case, common sense, and I'm going to go with common sense, tells me to just leave and run off. But of course, I'm curious to see what happens if you do give chase. So I'm going to see what happens anyway, and of course go back to this point if that turns out to be a mistake. So you dive into the undergrowth and see movement in the bushes in front of you. Ordering your warriors to spread out in order to make yourself less of an easy target, you run towards the bush ahead. A small brown-skinned creature suddenly jumps out from behind it, pointing a long blowgun straight at you. You recognize it as a blog because of its dog-like head and the shrunken heads that are tied to its belt. So this is what a blog used to be before. It was a web log, of course. Infamous for cooking human flesh in large cauldrons, blogs are hated and hunted down by all human races. A split second later, a poison dart is flying towards you. If you possess a shield, turn to 73. If you are not carrying a shield, turn to 330. And I can't remember if I do have a shield or not. Do I have a shield? Did I pick up a shield at any point? I certainly can't see any visible notes of having a shield. Let's see. I'll just see what happens either way. So presumably if you don't have a shield, you might die. So 73 shield or 330. No. Let's see what happens if you don't have a shield, first of all, which it seems I don't. The deadly dart finds its mark and lodges in your shoulder. The fatal poison rushes quickly through your veins and its effect is almost instantaneous. You fall to the ground and are dragged off to end up later in a cooking pot. Okay, that's a nice colorful end. I'm quite glad I got to it. If you do have a shield, a battle ensues, presumably. Right. You quickly raise your shield arm to block the flying dart. The blog turns to run away and disappears into the bushes. If you wish to give chase, turn to 171. If you would rather call your troops back to the path and march on sensibly, you go to 130. Okay. So at this point, it would have been possible to have a shield, presumably, and let's see, just go 171 over there. 171 chase. So at this point, one really should not be giving chase because I'm sure that will lead to certain death. You know what? I'm just going to leave these blogs be. You know what they say, let sleeping blogs lie. So all blogs but blow darts. So I'm going to just continue 130 and also move that up on a new page. Page 6. Let's see, 130. Okay. The path finally peters out at a point where the forest begins to thin. Walking is made easier on the flat pine needle covered ground and you turn east once again. Turn to 114. So I'm still not sure if... so maybe I should have gone north. It's possible. We'll might never find out. You come to a long, deep chasm which is too steep to climb down and too wide to jump across. If you wish to follow it north, turn to 241. If you'd rather follow it south, turn to 327. So, chasm 241, north 327, south. Let's put chasm. Now, is the chasm on my map is the big question. I can't really know. It's not really. I'm sort of east of or sort of, yeah, no, it can't show. It doesn't show on the map. So I don't know if it's far to go south or if it's fast to go north. I'm going to go south again. 327. Yeah, why not? A rope bridge spans the chasm up ahead. You order a man across the bridge to make sure that it will bear his weight. Now you're sending out someone else first. Yeah, not when you get the box in the middle of the insect-infested pond. He clambers across to the other side and turns to await your instructions. If you wish to send your army across the bridge, turn to 200. If you would rather call the man back and walk on, turn to 96. Right. 96, walk on, or 200, cross. Let's cross. What's the worst that could happen? Just your luck. Definitely lucky. Lucky. 164, 34. Lucky. Although the ropes creak under the strain, the bridge holds out and your army crosses safely. Heading east, you reach the eastern edge of the forest just as it is getting dark. So you decide to set up camp under the cover of the trees. Looking up at the night sky, which is at least visible again, you see that the moon is full. You decide to post extra soldiers on watch duty, ever wary of the presence of were creatures. Yes. Turn to 278. I'm sure we're going to meet a were creature, because otherwise why on earth would that be mentioned? 278. There we are. Not long after midnight, you are awoken by the eerie sound of howling wolves. Unable to sleep, you decide to go and find out if the guards have observed any wolves. You can see some way ahead of you in the moonlit forest and suddenly catch sight of a dark figure moving through the bushes. Creeping up on a guard from behind, the werewolf raises its head and howls at the dark sky before leaping at the surprised guard. If you really want to surprise someone, you don't howl and then attack. You attack and then howl, because otherwise, well, the other person has a chance to not be so surprised anymore. Drawing your sword, you run to his aid. If you are wearing the tooth of the Yeti, turn to 70. If you're not wearing this charm, turn to 374. Did I have a tooth of a Yeti? It seems there are some bits that I have missed along the way. Presumably this is one of those nice to have things, not essential. Okay, so we have 70 tooth Yeti, or 374. No, so no wonder it seemed a bit linear to me, because obviously I have missed some bits. 374. The werewolf's long jaw bites down on the neck of the guard. It then turns to face you, its fangs dripping with blood. You must fight the werewolf. If you win the fight without losing one attack round, turn to 305. If you lost one or more attack rounds and yet still kill the werewolf, turn to 228. So, presumably, if you lose a round, you get bitten, and then you turn into a werewolf yourself. And so 228, bitten, or 305 wins. I want to see what happens if you get bitten first. Test your luck. Okay, so you have to be unlucky as well, and then you... So within half an hour of being bitten by the werewolf, you begin to develop a fever. To your horror, you realize it is the first symptom of lycanthropy, the terrible affliction that turns humans into were creatures. There you have. Yeah, so I'm just gonna pretend I didn't get bitten because it's easier right now. You are fortunate not to have been bitten by... I do apologize, I'm getting a bit sniffly. As you could have caught lycanthropy, that terrible disease which turns humans into were-creatures. The rest of the night passes without incident, and in the morning you lead your army out of the forest across the new plain. Turn to 323. Now, I know I missed the golden key. I know I missed a yeti tooth. I know I missed a shield. So the question is, have I missed anything else essential? Now, obviously, I managed to find the things that led me to the oracle, which is a good thing. But am I prepared for this? I don't know yet. The morning passes uneventfully, except for the sighting of a young dragon with a goblin on its back. Flying above the range of your arrows, the dragon circles above your army for a few minutes and then flies back east, no doubt to report your presence to Aglax. You march on, and it is late afternoon when you see smoke rising up into the sky from a burning temple, which is under attack from hordes of Chaos Warriors. I'm getting quite close now to where the army action is actually happening. But as you turn your army towards the temple, you realize that somebody or something doesn't want you to stop the carnage. Well, duh. A small black cloud of flying creatures moves quickly towards you, and as they swoop down to attack your army, you see that they are fire imps. No more than 3 feet in length, they are red in color and have a pair of horns protruding from their heads and a small tail trailing behind them as they fly. Spitting fire from their wide open mouths, they are ferocious creatures. A number of 50 in total. If you have any elven archers left alive, turn to 4. If you do not have any archers, turn to 386. I'm sure I have all my elven archers still alive. I would not have picked those first to die, and also I haven't really lost many men. So 386. No, and 4 archers. Each elf fires 2 arrows at the 50 fire imps. To determine how many fire imps are shot out of the sky, multiply the number of elves in your army by 2. Then deduct the total of 2 dice rolled for the number of misses. Against the remaining fire imps, you must fight a skirmish battle with 30 warriors. So how many elves did I have? 50, actually. Okay. So actually that means I actually kill all the imps. Okay. If you win, turn to 316. 316. The forces of Aglax have had time to regroup while you were engaged in the battle against the fire imps. Really? I mean, it's just whoosh, 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 arrows, imps dead, keep moving. Marching towards you is a long line of Chaos Warriors, their black spiked armor adorned with gruesome treasures from previous battles. Banners flutter above them in the breeze, their red dragon symbols signifying allegiance to evil. Huge trolls march behind the Chaos Warriors, with orcs and goblins on both flanks, although there is no sign of Aglax himself. The advancing army suddenly stops, and the plain falls deathly quiet. Then a small hunchbacked gremlin steps in front of the waiting forces of evil and begins to dance and chant. Ending with a piercing scream, he drops to the ground. The Chaos Warriors move forward, treading the gremlin underfoot. They quicken their pace to a rhythmic trot. The stamp of their feet is an unnerving sound for your troops to hear. Brandishing all manner of axes, spears, spiked clubs, and maces, they advance towards you, screaming their war chants. Arrows will not stop them, and you must decide how to fight them. If you wish to lead your knights into battle, turn to 359. If you would rather send in your dwarves to fight the Chaos Warriors while you wait to see how the battle progresses, turn to 91. Right, so this is where you get into the tactics of the battle, and this is the sort of the thing that, I don't know, it is sort of a fancy kind of fight, though, that is, again, choice-based rather than just rolling the dice. And I suppose this is something I have said that I like. So even though you're leading an army as a proxy, I suppose, for just fighting your own battles, you actually get a kind of dynamism of the changing size of your army, or the altering, or they can get bigger and can get smaller through the game, will actually affect your fighting ability if you think of yourself as one creature. And also the choices you make in the battles is a kind of choosing, just like choosing a strategy for a man-to-man combat can be a way of dynamically deciding a battle. So even though it's an army and you're leading an army, it is actually the kind of battle that I've been hoping to see in a game book, rather than just the mindless rolling of dice. So I'm not going to complain about that. I think actually that's a good thing. Now, who's best suited to... So the 20 knights, 50 dwarves. I don't know, should I start with the dwarves? I'm going to start with the dwarves. You don't send in the best men first. So I'm going to go to 91. Your dwarves battle valiantly against the Chaos Warriors, but are vastly outnumbered. Refusing to give ground, they stand and fight until the last two of them are standing back to back against the fanatical adversaries. Then one of them falls beneath the blow of a spiked mace, and the other is speared in the back. Your ears ring with the tormenting cries of the victorious Chaos Warriors. So I still don't know if that's a better thing than if the knights had been slaughtered. You shout out new battle orders, expecting the Chaos Warriors to attack, but they turn and trot back to their own lines. I'm a bit curious now if... Okay. It looks like knights might have been the right choice, but again, there's also a mention there of something that I haven't seen in my on my journey. Anyway, 178, 178, 178. Okay, 178. So you decide the attack is the best form of defense and give the order for your army to march on the front line of trolls. Turn to 178. As you close in on the front line of trolls, they suddenly part to allow 4 wooden wagons to roll. Okay, so this is sort of getting into the army battle thing that I'm not sure I really like. Each one pushed by crews of shouting goblins. Your heart sinks when you see the goblins load large pointed poles into their firing positions, ready to be catapulted at your advancing troops. But there is no going back, and you urge your troops on into the mouths of the goblin war machines. When you are well within range, you hear their order to fire and watch the missiles flow towards you. Roll 4 dice for the number of your troops who are cut down by the war machine's deadly missiles. Still 50 yards away from the enemy line, your own troops falter in the face of another salvo. In need of urgent rallying, you run ahead of your army to lead them into battle. When you are just 20 yards away from the line, the war machines are fired again. Roll 4 dice again and deduct this total from your army. If you now have fewer than 100 troops in total, no, I don't think that's, well, it's possible, but turn to 59. If you have 100 or more troops, turn to 13. I'm going to pretend I have more than 100 because I think I just want to... I don't think I'm enjoying the army dynamic so much as I like dynamic combat in other ways. So I'm going to say I have more than 100. See if I can get past this bit. There is a loud sound of clashing steel as the two armies meet. The fighting is fierce and bloody, and although heavily outnumbered, you gain a little ground. In the center of the fighting, you find yourself battling it out with one of the largest trolls of all, the fearsome hill troll, which only has a skill of 9 and a stamina of 10. Yeah, I easily win that one. 142. The raging battle continues, but still there is no sign of Aglax himself. No sooner have you drawn your bloody sword from the chest of the hill troll Then a heavily armored mountain orc jumps over the corpse to fight you. Skill 8, stamina 7. Okay. Then let's see, 8, 7. If you win, turn to 208. I'm just going to keep going doing this. The noise of the battle rings in your ears again as you look around to see how your army is coping against the odds. Roll 1 die. Okay, 1, 2, and 3 possibilities. Yes, 106, 216, or 356. And that is 5 to 6, 3 to 4, 1 to 2. Usually good high rolls are better for these things. 4 should be okay, maybe. 216. I probably lost some people then. 30 of your valiant troops lie dead or dying on the battlefield. Minus 30. Trolls try to push the brave survivors back while goblins and orcs attack the flanks remorselessly. Berserk with battle lust, some of the goblins and orcs at the back are fighting among themselves, so eager are they to experience the clash of steel. To your right, you see a warrior being attacked from both sides by 2 goblins. To your left, another warrior is being clubbed to the ground by a hill troll. If you wish to help the warrior to your left, turn to 269. Okay. 269. If you wish to help the warrior on your right, turn to 62. 62. Okay, so the one on the left is hill troll. Okay, troll. And the one on the right is goblins. Same difference, really. I'm going to go with the left, 269. Another hill troll in the front line of battle picks up a huge rock and hurls it as you leap to the aid of the stricken warrior. If you have Lars of the Northmen with you, I don't think I do, turn to 288. If you do not have him in your army, turn to 23. 288. Lars. Okay. Yeah, my recruiting effort wasn't that great, was it? Really. At such a short range, the hurled rock is deadly. It crashes into the side of your head. And you fall down among the other brave soldiers who died to save Alancia. Well, yeah, brave, they just got paid anyway. Demoralized by your death, your army turns and flees. Aglax is victorious. Okay, so I'm not going to pretend I have lost at this point. I'm going to go help the warrior who was fighting the goblins, see if that makes a difference. So there might be some things here that are essential. Another goblin sees you move towards the embattled warrior. Recognizing you as the leader, the goblin points his crossbow at you, takes careful aim, and fires. If you hired Max's Marauders in Zengis, turn to 153. Did I? Who was it I hired anyway? I don't think Max's Marauders. Who did I hire in Zengis? Did I hire someone in Zengis? I can't remember now, actually. Let's see. So, we need either Lars or Max's Marauders, it seems, to get past this point. So 153, Max's Marauders. It does ring a bell, but I'm not sure. 339, no. So again, I presume if you say no now, you're going to die. Yeah. Okay, so let's for argument's sake say that I did actually hire Max's Marauders, even though I can't remember if I did it or not. I'm going to turn to 153 and see what happens. I'm not going to go and play this again anyway. Standing close by, the warrior woman sees the goblin just as it is about to fire its crossbow. She dives headlong at you to push you out of the path of the flying bolt. You are knocked to the ground, and when you get up, you see that Max is dead. The goblin's bolt protruding from her chest. Swearing revenge, you leap to attack the goblins who are still fighting the surrounded warrior. Fight them one at a time. If you win, turn 2, 3, 7, 9. Okay, so this particular bit of battle is okay, I suppose. No sooner have you drawn your sword from your adversary's body than another moves forward to take its place. If you wish to continue fighting, turn to 193. You'd rather try to distract the enemy by throwing all your gold into the air. Change of tactic. That's very left field. Turn to 394. So that's a bizarre choice, but what else can a man do? 193 gold. Fight. Let's see what happens if you keep fighting. First of all, yeah, that doesn't work. So if you don't throw your gold in the air, what happens is you slay 2 more of Aglex's creatures, and then a spear is thrust in your side. The sheer weight of enemy numbers is too much, even for you and your brave soldiers. You do not die alone this day, but alas, the enemy has won. So that means that the only correct choice at this point is throwing all your gold into the air. Right. The gold pieces fall through the air like huge golden droplets of rain, and this looks like this is the only option here. Confusion immediately takes hold of the enemy as the trolls and goblins scramble to pick up the gold they so love. Oblivious to the main battle, they fight one another ferociously to claim the fallen treasure. You seize your opportunity and break through the disorganized ranks. Suddenly you see the demon you have been hunting, sitting calmly in a sedan chair supported by 4 hideous zombies. Aglax watches you approach through blood-red eyes. He makes no move as you get nearer. Only his vile head and taloned hand show from his black robes. Sensing danger at Aglex's calmness, you wonder how you should attack him. Would you use a pendant, if you have one, use a crystal, if you have one, or use your sword? Now, I did have a promise that this sword I have is special and should be able to defeat him. So, also pendant. Did I have a pendant of some sort? Had a gold necklace. Is that a pendant? The problem with gold necklace is, well, pendant is ambiguous, isn't it? But sword is definitely not ambiguous. It's probably the least ambiguous thing, except there could be 2 different swords, your original one or the one you got. I don't have the crystal. I do have a sword. Sword, crystal, or pendant. 2, 3, 6. I'm going to check what this pendant is. Excuse me. I don't know what pendant that is referring to. So it's a crystal or the sword, I suppose. Now, I do have a sword, and it's supposed to be possible. Now, this is, I've spotted a flaw in this game book now, because the Ian Livingstone lookalike character who gave you his sword said it was possible to slay a demon with it. You're not actually now given the option of saying, "Oh, do you have that particular sword?" So he was lying then, was he? Oh, that's a bit unfair. Aglex's mouth opens wide as if he is about to laugh, but you hear no sound of laughter. So, yeah, so that doesn't work either. So neither sword nor pendant works. The only thing that works is the crystal. So, I'm not going to go and look for the crystal. The crystal is here somewhere. So, in a good way, that means that if you're watching this, it's only semi-spoiled for you now. You don't know where the crystal is. I don't know where the crystal is. But yeah. Aglax shrinks back in his chair when he sees the crystal of light in your hands. Covering his face with his hands, he suddenly jumps down from the chair and runs away, hissing orders at a group of his black-robed elite fanatics standing close by. Can I just go to 1, 2, 3 right away? No, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, not 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Be gone. Let's just see what happens here. Because I mean, if I wanted to use the crystal, I would just go to the 3, 2, 1 paragraph. I wouldn't. Yeah. Anyway. This black-robed elite fanatic standing close by. One blocks your way to Aglax, his curved sword held in both hands above his head. The grim assassin is more than willing to die to save his master. Tanaka-san, say you die. Oh my god. Okay. First of all, you do not use son after your name if you talk about yourself. Anyway, that's like yes, no, you just don't do that. He shrieks as he does forward to cut you down where you stand, and also curved sword in this case would be a katana, not a whatever that is. Anyway, I'm going to win that obviously. Oops. You run after Aglax and soon catch him up as he scrambles awkwardly across the body-strewn ground in his long robes. You call to him and he suddenly stops and looks at you piercingly in the eyes. You must chant the rhyme to activate the crystal. Turn to the number spoken in the rhyme. If you do not know it or have forgotten it, turn to 79. Okay. So 79 or of course secret paragraph 3, 2, 1. A howling scream erupts from the wide-open mouth of the shadow demon. White smoke starts to billow from his robes as Aglax stoops in tortured pain. I would have thought he would have fought back. I would have fought back in some fashion. Anyway. Still screaming, he shrinks to the floor until there is nothing left of him but a smoking robe. Banished to the outer planes, never to threaten Delancia again. Well, he managed to get here once. He could get here again. You never know. Aglax is defeated. Turn to 400. So clearly, one does need the crystal. That's the essential item. On witnessing Aglax's destruction, the creatures of the army of death go berserk. The various tribes attack one another, each blaming the others for the loss of their leader. You try to get them to surrender, but they are hell-bent on self-destruction. In the end, you leave the goblins, orcs, hill trolls, zombies, and elite fanatics to encompass their own annihilation, while you march your army back to Fang in triumph. But how long will it be before a new peril threatens your beloved Alancia? Not long, because it seems every book you are trying to save the world. So, right. So that is it, really. Clearly, I didn't actually win the game this time because I didn't find the crystal. So, I don't know if I'm going to put too much effort into trying to find it or not in this case. I mean, presumably it is after the point where the crystal is mentioned by the oracle, so it should be in the last little bit of game, possibly in the forest. I would imagine that is the item, the one item you need to find in the forest. So I don't know what is. I'm just trying to, just going very quickly now just to see if there is. No. It looks like both the north and the south, when you get to the chasm, both roads sort of lead to the same thing. So it must be before that point that you can find it. Okay, that's not the right one. This is the right one. I'm just having a quick. Let's go back to my this view now. So I'm just trying to find out where could I have gone wrong. So the box where we started. And this is where I went south. So maybe this is where I should have gone another direction. Just doing some speed playing now. There's the cave in the forest. That's why you have the spider that I think we've seen a picture of every now and again. And in the cave there is a box that might contain something. Okay, that was just a trap. So that's not it either. Then we get to the chasm. So maybe only one direction left then. So and then you get to the chasm again. Okay. So I'm wondering now, so where could this crystal be? Is it possible you could have found it before? I don't see how that would. I'm a bit mystified now where it might be found. 49.6, yeah. Okay. So it doesn't seem to be. So we need the gold key then. Okay, so clearly the crystal has to be in the box with the key. There's no other way for it. So that means that only way, so that's the only place it can be now. So the crystal has to be there. And the big question then becomes, where is the key? So that's something that would have been earlier. Okay. I'm not going to spend too much time trying to figure that out. I think I'll leave it for now. Or actually, I'm not going to try to figure it out. Basically, I'm going to say that I've played this game and enjoyed it. Importantly, and I'm losing my voice now. Sorry. Still at the tail end of another cold. Yeah, I got loads of those this year. So I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed playing Armies of Death. It was a little bit different, a little bit unexpected from Ian Livingstone to have I mean, obviously you still had the kind of shopping list thing going on, but it was not gather these 2-3 items and then you get to the end and then you need all of them. Instead, it was you find, in some cases, you had to find one piece of information or one item, and then that leads to another piece of information or item, which works much better, I think. So you've got a string of clues. Most of, I don't think I spotted any good old-fashioned insta-death here. The deaths were hidden behind bad choices that you were certainly given a kind of hint at was going to be bad, and sometimes after that also a luck roll. So very fair. Some new dynamics to do with battle with the armies, which mostly I liked. I think the skirmish battle was quite nice. Excuse me. And yeah, overall I quite enjoyed this game. So next time, so next time, book number 36, 37, what is next? I don't know why these books around here are unnumbered. I'm not sure if, is that the next book now? Does anybody know? I'll just have to find, because I've got a few books in a row now without numbers on them. And then I don't know. Let's see. Fantasy books list to see if I can find that now. So 30. No, Portal of Evil is the next one. Which, yes. Yeah, because I had two. The thing is, I had two books in a row now on my bookshelf without numbers, and they were in the wrong order. So, next book is Portal of Evil, which is what I will be playing next time I make a playthrough video. And of course, after that again, that's when I get to Vault of the Vampire. Okay, so. That is it for today. Thanks for watching, and you know what to do if you want to support my channel. I'm not going to repeat that just now, so goodbye for now.